Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court Podcast host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Balls Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here with the usual Mr. Paul Mack. I have to remember that I'm in mirror mode and point at him. Happy Friday, sir. How's it going for you, my man?
It's been a minute, man. We've been a couple busy boys, but we're here. We're here on this lovely Friday, and we're here to play a little catch up and talk about things to come. And we survived the Drake Kendrick beef. We haven't had a chance to talk about that, but we survived. We got some bops.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we can talk about it. What's your whole perspective on that beef, man?
I mean, my man out Draked Drake, man. And the way I look at it is, you take a guy who thinks he's, at the top, and nobody can get him, and there's a reason why one man is the self-proclaimed boogeyman. And he picked the wrong one. I mean, he's coming off of potentially an L a few years ago in his last little beef he had, and it's hard because obviously he, the whole 20 versus 1. Apparently everybody's against Drake right now, but
yeah, that was
at some point you gotta shift your focus and just go after one guy. Mm-hmm. And Kendrick just had one guy to go after, and boy did he go after him. So it was a fun 4 or 5 days where just you're on your phone. It's just like, yo, Drake dropped the diss track. Kendrick dropped the diss track. Kendrick put out another one. Drake put one out. And then 20 minutes later, Kendrick dropped one right after Drake put one out. It was fun, man. Music, when that stuff's happening, as long as, no Biggie Pac stuff goes down and they can just keep it on wax. I mean, it's fun, man. It's great that there are people talking about music that probably wouldn't really talk about music. So it is what it is. It was fun, but Not Like Us is a banger.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, it was a fun debate, but I think it ran a course. I'm glad they didn't do any more songs. But at the end of the day, listen, it was a good battle. Kendrick won. I give it to Kendrick, but a lot of people feeling some type of way. There's a lot of Drake fanboys, and there's a lot of Kendrick fanboys, and there's valid points on both sides. I know they talk about Kendrick Lamar drop every 5 years. His content, is really good when he drops after for 3 or 4 years and everything like that. So sometimes I'm okay with artists dropping music, within a span of 2 or 3 years, get that intrigue. It is what it is. Drake is on the other end of the spectrum where he dropped album about every year, and he got a different style that he used. So to each his own. I'm not sitting here and I admit him, or I would say this, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and Drake, they are the top 3 hip hop artists that we are very recognizable, very marketable. What they do, what their craft are, different approaches to how they rap and how they approach their craft. So they are the top 3. Now it's interchangeable who you want to pick, who's number 1. But I enjoyed it. Good little banter to talk about. Pretty funny that Kendrick Lamar put the map up of the pedophile map at the OVO house.
Oh man.
I was
listening to some stuff about that, and they said the thing about the Kendrick song is that song is going to get remixed by everybody to make it kind of countrywide. So like it came out as a West Coast song, but there's going to be an Atlanta version, there's going to be a Houston version, there's going to be a New York version, and it's going to just take over the summer. And Drake's not going to be able to shake it. And then they said also that that's the kind of song that when like college football season starts, that those bands are just going to play the shit out of that. It's going to be a good band song.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And I don't want this to overshadow, because 2024, really, if you look at it, it's been a fantastic year for hip hop, actually. Conway the Machine, nobody talking about his new album. His new album is fantastic. Schoolboy Q, his album, he's been incognito for a while. His album is fantastic. Benny the Butcher, another guy that's from Griselda, his album is fantastic. My favorite artist, Lupe Fiasco, is dropping the album in June. There's been a lot of like hip hop music, like Childish Gambino. His album just dropped, what, a couple of days ago?
He sneak dropped that thing.
Yeah, and I listened to it on my way driving home. I'm like, oh, this is good, man. I was worried about, because I saw the album, I'm like, well, it's not explicit, so I wonder what this is. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, but it's so good with music and their expression and the art and what you bring into it. And I mean, this music I'm just going to hip hop. Like Pearl Jam just dropped the album.
Yeah, man.
they dropped an album like 20 years. So like they dropped the album. And it's just so much good music, right? You I mean, Paul, you can speak to this. You're a music head like I am, and there's more than hip hop. There's been some really good music this year, man.
Yeah. And also on top of that, coming off of the Kendrick Drake stuff, you got the Game versus Rick Ross. So that's exciting. That's just two goofballs being goofballs.
There's 2 guys still trying to be relevant. Rick Ross got his wing stopped, and Game is still mad because he didn't get invited to the Super Bowl event list or to perform. The Game, really, bruh? Let it go.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right. So, Paul, talk to me, man. NFL release schedule happened this week. They released the schedule, and your initial thoughts about the schedule, and any kind of games you're looking kind of for on. I know they're got Sunday night football games, so what you looking forward to, man?
The schedule releases are always a thing. Like that's like a big thing now. Is how teams release their schedules, and like I've seen a couple, and they're fine. But shout out to San Diego or the Los Angeles Chargers. Shout out to the Chargers.
Very dope.
They might have won the schedule release. They covered a lot of things in their little schedule drop with the. They did it in the Sims, so it was via like the Sims characters, and that was fun. That was a fun one. They were very relevant. They made sure they squeezed Harrison Butker in there. I don't know if you caught that little tidbit. They had him in the kitchen baking some pie or something, and he caught the kitchen on fire. Oh, that guy. Oh man, but it is what it is. From what I've seen, I didn't even really look at the Giants schedule. Just from what I've seen, I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers got dealt a pretty rough schedule. This could be the year that the Mike Tomlin, over 500 or whatever streak comes to an end, because their schedule after Thanksgiving is not great. So it'll be interesting to see how, the Russell Wilson experience goes for them. And how fast they get Justin Fields in there. But it is what it is. They got to play all these games, but it's all fun in the off season. But most of our teams, their toughest games are going to be in the division anyway. So we already know we're playing, some of our biggest games against, our division. So we got 6 games within our division that we got to worry about every year. So I don't really look at the whole schedule, but it's a fun time knowing that football is a coming. You can smell it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely close. Very exciting times. I did like the Chargers, their arrival. That schedule release was cool. I saw people post the Ravens. That one was unique. Jags had had a design at the S-Men's 97. That one was pretty cool. Just seeing the post of that. My Broncos was just very bland. They just said, "Here you go. Here's the schedule." They posted nothing creative. We know we're gonna suck this year, so just slap it on there. Exciting news. I actually just kind of having some conversation with some of my new associates and workers and stuff like that. As I'm optimistic I am as a Magic fan, I'm very pessimistic about my Denver Broncos. But I will say this though, I think it is time for a road trip to Denver, and I picked the game to go to. The perfect game to go to. It is going to be week 14, and they're at home at the Carolina Panthers. Can you imagine how much them tickets going to be?
They might just let you go for free because you work at Walmart.
That too, but I imagine them tickets going to start at like $5.
100%.
Who's going to want to watch the Broncos and the Panthers? Me. I'm like the only one. So Broncos. I am planning a road trip. And I am planning a road trip. I'm thinking about it. I'm very sure going to think about it because they're going to play in Tampa this year too. I am planning a road trip on week 14, October 27th. The weather shouldn't be too bad in Denver, but I think I'm going to make a trip up there and watch them play the Panthers because I tell you what, Paul, if I go up there, go to Denver, enjoy my time up there, and go watch them catch an L to the Panthers, I will have a really bad week. Even though the Broncos are not that much better, I project my team to probably win about 3 games. We'll definitely get into the preview whenever it comes around to it in the fall. But this is a game, one of the few games I expect to win. And who knows? Maybe Bo Nix come out the gate, really light things up, which I'm not really optimistic about that either. We got Jared Stidham. We got Zach Wilson. We both know Zach Wilson ain't seeing the field. No. He's close to Utah where they do a lot of paramilk activity over there. So
yeah, he's ready to go soaking.
Yeah. But I can confirm when I went to Denver last time, maybe it's a fluke. The last time I went to Denver, the pool up there was not impressive. And so maybe I just called them on a bad week. Maybe they was out of town. Maybe they all was in Colorado Springs. But I told Kevin this, and I was on the podcast to admit about this, that, man, just a comparison when I went to a Jaguars game to a Broncos game, the women up there was So I don't want to get attacked. I don't want to get beat up, but I love my Broncos fans, so I just don't. Just my 2 cents. I just want to impress, but that's the game I'll choose. I think I'm gonna go to the Carolina Panthers game at home, and then I try to go to. I'm gonna go to the Bucs game too. I got a few friends that got Bucs tickets, so I don't want to deal with Bucs fans. We'll probably lose that game. Bucs are pretty good. So, but I'm in it for the vibes for the Broncos this year. There's no expectations, and but yeah, I'm not gonna keep raining on the Broncos. Sunday night football games are looking pretty interesting. I'm looking at I think so far that week 1 against the Rams and the Lions, it's gonna be a high scoring affair. It's a rematch, isn't it? That's a rematch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
from the playoffs. Yeah. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What round was that? Was divisional, or I can't.
Yeah,
I think
that was
I think
that was the comp. Who was it? The Lions and the
Lions and the Rams. I believe that was
that was the
not
divisional round.
that.
Then
That was
they played Tampa.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. That game was really
It was the wild card round.
Yeah, Super Wild Card. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That game's gonna be fun. I'm glad to see the Lions get some recognition here. To get a lot of home games. They get a lot of national televised games, and good for them. But we'll see if teams like that is where football's parity. So we'll see if they can sustain what they did last year. But I think that's gonna be my game to key in on week 1. Any games that you're keying on Sunday Night Football that you're gonna key on that you think that'd be that'd be a pretty good game early on.
I haven't deep dove that deep. The schedules just came out. I've just been focusing on basketball. I haven't even really looked too deep into the schedule. So as we get closer to the time, I'll take a gander and I'll circle some games. But I'm just happy that the schedules are out, and that means that football's not far away. You can smell
Absolutely.
it.
Cowboys and 49ers in week 8 is another one that I kind of looked at too, just briefly. That one should be a good one too. But Cowboys is doing their usual, got their 5 games, and we'll see if Cowboys are always going Cowboys. But yeah. But yeah, that's what we got as far as with the NFL release. We weren't going to dive too deep in this, but let's transition over to the NBA playoffs. I'm pretty sure you got this game up somewhere, don't you? You got it up in the office?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got it going on. We're good.
I know you tuned in. I got it over here. The tube is kind of checking the score right now. So, overall thoughts on this series. OG Anunoby, they kind of announced that he's not going if there's a game 7, he's not going to play. Like these guys are really limping in. There's a few injuries. Josh Hart kind of got hurt in the middle of this game, and he's still playing, but
he has no choice. They have like a 7-man rotation. The fact that they're still that the Knicks are doing what they're doing. I mean, I know rotations get small typically in the postseason, but they are running 7 guys right now. They got 3 or 4 guys playing probably close to 40 minutes a game, and good for them for no one ever seems to get in foul trouble and all that, but you just wonder how sustainable that is long term. Obviously tonight is good for the Knicks because they had 2 days rest in between, so they should be rested and ready. But I mean, going up against Boston, if they get past the Pacers, that's just a tough ask, I think, with a rotation that's that small. But we'll see, man. I mean, they have guys that are, Jalen Brunson's doing historic things right now. We ain't seen somebody score like this, I think, since Michael Jordan in the 90s. For a guard his size to score over 45 times in like 8 games is pretty wild. Josh Hart, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy his size rebound like that. That guy gets every rebound. Like I've never seen, the guy's just a ball hawk. But the Celtics are a really good rebounding team. Jason Tatum rebounds well, Jaylen Brown. They're dealing with some injuries too. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis. So they're saying he'll probably miss the start of the Eastern Conference Finals too. So
it's game 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah, so there's that.
That's what they're projecting.
Well, it's interesting in the East because if the Knicks can't pull it out tonight, Game 7 at Madison Square Garden would be absolutely electric. So I think if those guys didn't have the energy and they were running on fumes, there would be enough energy in that arena to get them through the game. But it would be nice for them to close it out tonight and then have the rest until Tuesday before Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, for sure. I'm sitting here and listen for what the Knicks are doing with all these injuries, and for them to still be pushing an Eastern Conference playoff berth that hasn't happened since 2000? No, I believe it's 2000.
It's been almost 25 years since the Knicks have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, so I mean, it is impressive. And as I told you, Paul, like this collection, Knicks players, they're real easy to root for. Some of the fans are not you, but some of the Knicks fans are a little too much. But their team, y'all team that y'all have, the collection of players, like they're easy to root for. Like you can tell,
there's some dogs. There's some dogs on that team.
Yeah, no, and that's why I say, like, man, the way they play, like Josh Hart doing what he does, and I told my other Knicks fans, I'm like, dude, y'all team is super easy to root for. Like, you got players that is embracing this like dog mentality, blue collar mentality, and just lace them up and go to work. Like Dante DiVincenzo is like literally taking off as well. You know, he's shining very well. Like Isaiah Hartenstein, dude's gonna get paid. I know he signed a short-term deal with the Knicks, and Knicks better sign him back. I really think that he kind of played his way into a role there, and you got to make a decision on. I mean, the decision is real easy on Mitchell Robinson to move on, and what you do with Julius Randle, he's still going to be part of the core. I don't know, but it's one of those that you got a lot of questions to answer, and you got these other players that stepping up. This McBride kid,
Deuce, baby.
I mean, yeah, this kid has been impressive. So for what y'all doing with the talent that y'all have, man, like you Knicks fans should be proud, seriously. Like, and that's a comment coming from me as a Magic fan. Like, you Knicks fans should be proud of this team, man. Like these players, and I see why some of you Knicks fans are really crazy about some of these players because they're invested. They show they got heart, they got character, and I'm just Tom Thibodeau, stop running these guys to the ground, like because you do got a damn good basketball team, and yeah, when I miss with Indiana, I know Indiana's been getting the luck of the draw with some of these teams that deal with injury players, injury teams, but for the most part, the Knicks doing their part. They're scrapping their dogs. So,
and the Knicks are that they're you know, like I know the Oklahoma City Thunder like to do the whole barking dog, whatever nonsense, but the Knicks just go out and play, man. They do. They're not out here. They're not out here, you know, cutting promos. They're not out here doing all this stuff, you know, posting weird videos of them singing to each other in the locker room. They ain't doing none of that. They're out there just letting the game speak. You know, playing way outside of their potential right now. Some of these guys, like, I mean, Josh Hart's been a journeyman in the NBA. You know, he was a guy that, you know, he might have ended up in overseas if the Knicks didn't pick him up. He just couldn't find a home, and they, you know, they brought him to the Knicks, and the core there with, you know, Jalen Brunson and DiVincenzo, obviously, you know, them being college roommates and all that stuff is awesome. But, you know, Tibbs is a tough coach, and I understand, like, you know, people are gonna always say like, oh, he ruined Derrick Rose. Yeah, you know, I mean, the game's a little different now. I mean, Derrick Rose was super explosive, and, you know, what happened to him was unfortunate, but no one on the Knicks has the explosiveness that someone like Derrick Rose, where you have to worry about him blowing out a knee. I just think they'll just get tired. You know, no one on the Knicks is like super athletic. I don't think it's a point where it's like, oh, someone's going to hurt themselves. But, you know, he's doing what he can with a, you know, 7-8 man rotation, and he's making the most out of it, and he's maximizing the potential of that team. And you know, Jalen Brunson, for whatever reason, regardless of, you know, not being in the MVP conversation, regardless of just how no one really talks about him as being a potential face of the league, but he's a name you hear day in and day out of just Jalen Brunson did this, Jalen Brunson did that. He scored 40-something points. All these things, man. And it's just, at some point, you know, they're going to put some respect on his name, because he is leaving a mark this postseason. And regardless of where the Knicks fall, you can't tell me that young man's not an elite player in the NBA.
Yeah, he's having quite the run, man, and he's the driving force behind their success. And, you know, him and Randall supposed to be that 1 and 2 piece. So it's number short impressive what they're doing right now, and the route they're taking to where they're going to eventually be at. So The Celtics ended up wrapping up the Cavaliers in 5 games. It was the Al Horford show. Al Horford kind of
it was.
Al Horford is Cleveland. Yeah, I think Cleveland really hate Florida, man. They had a tough series with the Magic in 7 games, which I'm kind of irritated now that they dealt all these injuries. I would have rather seen the Magic play in like 5 games against Celtics. That would have been tough and stuff like this, and not dealing with injuries and got all these young cats. But it is what it is. I can't be mad about that. Cavs beat us. They won. They advanced. But yeah, the Celtics. Paul, is it just me, or I'm just waiting for a moment with the Celtics? We gonna say that, man? They blowed it. They just blown it. Some of these games they play against the Cavs, yeah, they won, and I know they was cruising. I know they don't have Kristaps Porzingis, but you still have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You still have Derek White. You still have Drew Holiday. You have pieces on the bench. You only lost 4 home games. And I just don't know. They just hit a cruise mode, or they just cruising right now. And I'm just trying to figure out what to make of the Celtics right now. What's your thoughts about the Celtics?
I think they're just one of those teams, man. They play with their food a lot. Like, I think they, you know what I mean? They just they lose the 1 game to Cleveland, and then, I don't think the rest of the games were even close. Maybe one of them was close, but they just literally just put their foot on their throat and was like, all right, fine. You punched us in the nose. Now we're going to put you away. Now, mind you, injuries, I don't know how different that series is if Jared Allen's healthy and Donovan Mitchell has missed the last 2 games. I don't think it necessarily matters, but I think those games are a little bit closer. There's a lot going on in Cleveland. That team, since that loss, has kind of imploded a little bit. Talking about, Bernie Bickerstaff is potentially on the chopping block. Now Evan Mobley's coming out saying that he didn't even want to be drafted by the Cavs in 2021. You don't know where Donovan Mitchell gonna do, if he's gone. And then you have someone like Darius Garland. Guys, he has like a $135 million contract, and he did not show up without Donovan Mitchell. So there's a lot there. I mean, their best player in those last couple games was Max Strus, and Evan Mobley played really well too. But the guards, it's a guard dominant league now, and if you can get anything out of your guards, it's going to be tough. And when Darius Garland just can't even get you 15 points, like you're gonna have a tough go because there's no one to really pick up the slack. And I know the last game they played, I think Karis LeVert was out, Donovan Mitchell's out, Jared Allen's out. I mean, it was over before it started for him, but
yeah,
I assumed Boston would get the sweep, but the gentleman's sweep's just the same, I guess, for Boston. So
basically, I'm gonna give a shout out to Cavs Twitter. There's been a lot of kind of chatter between Cavs and Magic fan Twitter. So I had a tweet, and so Gab Goody, I think that's her name. She tweeted something about Cleveland, I forgot what she's like. I hate that song. Can't stand it. And I like, okay. So I tweeted Joakim Noah, like, nobody likes Cleveland. Like, you want to go vacation in Cleveland? Nobody like to live there. Blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool. So after we lose to him, she didn't respond to my tweet initially. So she tweeted at me when the Cavs ended up beating us in 7 games. She literally just said, "Go to hell." So I put like a picture of like, kind of did like a smile, like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." But hey, Pepper Farms remembers. So
True.
They came and lost, and I had tweeted a picture of Homer and Bart. Said, "Hey, come join me in hell. Bring the Tito's, come sit by me." I'm just being real respectful, but I'm just joking, like, okay, cool, just look cool, little banter. So she come at me like, "I hate that song, and I can't stand you Magic fans, and you fat shame a player, and it's for someone who shouldn't be talking." And I'm like, Okay, I see where this is going, but I want you to come out and say what you want to say. Like, say it with your chest. So I responded. I was like, dang, you kind of mad? Like, I'm just joking, man. Like, relax. Like, hey, but like I said, it is what it is. But, you know, I said, but George's Niang can go to Cracker Barrel and go grub out and go to a buffet because he's still fat. So she come out and was like, well, you're not the one to talk. You fat too. I said, oh, that's where it is. Cool. So I treat her like, hey, it's cool. I said, I'm in love myself. You know, chubby dude is what it is. My self-esteem's not in the water. But I had a tweet that she had tweeted about years ago. I just like taking receipts. I just like taking receipts because it's funny. So I guess a couple of dudes in her Instagram DM was calling her fat. She need to go to McDonald's. She, you know, they call her chubby, and she was crying on Twitter about this man's my DM and getting that attention about that she's being ripped on about being somewhat heavy set. So I said it's ironic that, you know, you was crying about being called fat years ago, but then you call me fat. And where's the double standard there?
She got mad at you for fat shaming George Niang.
Yeah, exactly. George Niang. But yet there's Cavs fans that was calling Moritz and Franz Wagner Nazi Germans. Okay. But hey, it's all good. I keep receipts, man, and I don't get offended. So she didn't respond. Of course, all the Master Twitter fans just laughing at me going at this person. And I'm like, guys, it was all cool. It was all fun and games. And I did the lock-in meme where you see the dude with the video game. Yeah, and I tweeted, I was like, yeah, I like sits up. So I was like, and I'm sitting there, I had tweeted, I was like, just randomly jokes about Cleveland and you know, about losing the playoffs. And then I put her quote, "You're fat." And you see me leaning like, oh, now I'm locked in. Let's go. This is what I want. Yeah, you done called me out now. Oh, I got it. So you people need to realize you can't troll me, man. I sit there and laugh at stuff. You can make jokes all you want. Listen.
I don't think they realize too that Magic Twitter got your back anyway.
They do, but they also know that I have seen so many fat jokes. I have seen so many jokes that it doesn't bother me. I'm not sensitive. I got a hard shell. You can make jokes. And so to you, Gab, before we go to our next segment, I am drinking my ranch water. So Topo Chico.
What a classy guy.
And cheers to you. And yes, it is low calorie too, by the way.
And that lady stinks.
There it is. That's the state segment. Let's go.
There you go. She stinks. Cleveland stinks.
Cleveland stinks.
Drew Carey stinks.
Oh man, dude. Just like people that was picking on Cleveland versus Orlando, like,
you know,
it is.
I still stand by the Magic versus Boston would have been a way better series. I still stand by that. I just think the Magic just couldn't pull it out in Game 7. But I think that would have been a way better series. I think the physicality would have been different. It would have been interesting. I mean, Boston might have still pulled it out, but it would have been a lot tougher on Boston, especially without Porzingis, without the size.
Yep.
But you know,
when you make under 5 threes in the second half, you kind of write your own story there.
Franz couldn't throw it in the ocean, bro.
Franz could not boogie that night.
No.
Franz usually boogie, but he could not boogie that night. But no, I still love the guy.
Poor Franz. Yeah, oh yeah, no, for sure. You'll be fine. Like I said, like your expectations, you didn't really have much. Well exceeded. So now you get to just buckle in for next season, and now y'all got something to aim for.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I kind of heard you took a little stab at the Thunder, man. So let's talk about the Thunder and the Mavs. 1-5. Thunder's number 1 seed in the West. They're down 3-2 against the Dallas Mavericks. PJ Washington is having a heck of a series. You would have asked me that he would have been their best player before the series started. I would look at you and laugh. But these moves that the Mavericks have made at the deadline, adding PJ Washington, adding Daniel Gafford, has really changed the landscape of their team. They always been focused on defense, but you have some athletes around Luka and Kyrie now. It seemed like Luka has looked like he's deferring to Kyrie to take over in the fourth, and then Luka just do his work between quarters 1, 2, 3, and just be that option available whenever they need a clutch bucket in the fourth. It seemed to have something working here, man. Paul, talk to me about the Mavericks and this Thunder series, man. What's your thoughts? Is it just a young team with a Thunder, or what?
I mean, I said this, the last time we recorded, but if Dallas won that Clippers series, Dallas was going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. Dallas is big time. They got the star power. They got a great head coach. They got depth. They got length. They play defense, and the fact that Luka can go, kind of be in cruise control for most of the game with Kyrie. That if they get down or if it gets into the fourth quarter, you got two guys you got to worry about making a play. And then on top of that, you got PJ Washington scoring over 20 a game the last couple games. I mean, he didn't have a great game last game. I think he had a lot of rebounds, but it's tough because that's a team with, we say it all the time. They got playoff pedigree. Kyrie's won a championship. Luka's been in the playoffs. Jason Kidd is as good as they get. You got all the experience in the world. He's been there. He's played in these big games, played in these tough games, and just the way he's managing that team, because they have a pretty big rotation too. Like they're running probably like 8-9 guys.
They are, yeah.
Between Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green,
Dante
Derek Lively. So they're deep, and it's just that's the thing about it. And you're going up against a team like Derek Jones Jr. I mean he's a starting lineup now, but they can run those guys, rotate them in and out, and it's almost like in hockey when they just have line changes. They just have guys that they can just put in, and they've all played together. They've all got chemistry together. Regardless of which unit's on the floor, there's always going to be one lockdown defender out there, a rim protector, and then you got Kyrie or Luka or both. Mm-hmm. It's tough, and if you're the Thunder, you were the number 1 seed, but at the end of the day, y'all never been there before. You're still one of the younger teams in the league. This is all foreign. This is all foreign territory to you, and Shea can't do it by himself, and I think the Mavericks are at the point where it's like you can let Shea cook, and who's going to beat you? Is Chet Holmgren going to beat you? Is the Wonder Twins of Jalen and Jalen Williams going to beat you? No, it. So it's. I just think that if Dallas. I honestly think Dallas pulls it out tomorrow and it's over. I think it gets past tomorrow. I think Dallas closes it out tomorrow. And honestly, with how Minnesota and Denver are going at each other, Dallas is scary, man. Dallas is real scary. Mm-hmm. So the Western Conference to me is, I was gonna say like, oh, Denver, house money on Denver, but they just lost by 45 yesterday. So, Jamal Murray's kind of been, non-existent in this series. He had a couple huge games against the Lakers, had a couple game winners against the Lakers, but we know a team like Minnesota takes pride in their defense. So you're seeing them against a really, really strong defensive team. And, Dallas with their length and their size, I think that can cause problems. Their depth can cause problems. So, I think the better matchup might be Minnesota and Dallas if Minnesota can get past, Denver on Sunday. But it's the West for once is the more interesting conference, I think. I think people are expecting whoever Boston gets, that it's Boston series to lose. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, we just got a bunch of heavyweights just throwing haymakers at each other. and it's just whoever clips the other one first is gonna make it, because there's no clear cut path, and it's fun to watch, but Denver has the advantage of the home team on Sunday, but you just got stomped by 45. So what Jokic are we gonna go see? Are we gonna see MVP? Jokic drop triple doubles. Jamal Murray gonna show up. Aaron Gordon's been playing out of his mind, and that's awesome to see. And I know that's a guy that's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
But he's they've done some things lately that have been working, but Minnesota, being the defense team that they are, they made the adjustments. And I just think that they're a team right now with their length, with Rudy Gobert, with Karl-Anthony Towns, with Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels. They just got length all over the court.
Mike Conley, some defense right now.
Mike Conley.
The reason Jamal Murray is struggling right now.
Mm-hmm. So it's crazy to think that, but we could be looking at a Minnesota Dallas Maverick Western Conference Final. Who had that on their bingo card?
No one, bro. No one did.
You couldn't tell me that you had either one of those teams in the Western Conference Finals when the season started. I don't care who you are. You're a liar.
No. Dallas was struggling at one point. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas was struggling at one point in the season before they made these trades.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, I listen. I was skeptical about their whole two big guy lineup running, and it really has been effective for the most part. I know they had a couple of off games against Denver, but Jokic is just one of a kind. So that's just what he does. So it's I thought for sure, I was like, Denver's gonna wrap this up. But initially, before the series even started, I didn't want to pick it. We even said on the show we didn't want to pick that series, Paul, because we all project that this series is gonna go 7 games. We thought it was gonna go 7 games. And here we are. We're going 7 games between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. And how fitting that it's gonna be back here. And it's Jokic had that look on his face when they got beat by 45. This ain't gonna happen in Denver. He just had that look on his face like it ain't gonna happen in Denver.
He looked like the Winter Soldier. He was locked in. He was ready to go.
Oh, he was ready to go. So and a lot of guys didn't show up. They didn't shoot well. Came back down to earth. And like Anthony Edwards was everywhere that game. Jaden McDaniels was everywhere that game. And it's just beautiful basketball. Like this should have been the Western Conference Finals, but they had to play early. So on the flip side, OKC, they're learning the hard way that when you get to the playoffs and you just can't survive on talent alone, that they're gonna let Josh Giddey shoot. They're gonna hedge off Josh Giddey. And that's what they're doing. They're hedging off Josh Giddey. They want Jalen Williams to beat them, who a lot of people, OKC fans, has proclaimed that he's this top 20 player. But it takes a lot in the playoffs, man. Like you get all these adjustments and you get these defensive styles and you got these players. You got PJ Washington that can guard positions from 3 to 5. And you got Daniel Gafford who can go out and guard on perimeter. You have Dante Essam who's 6'7" that can go out there and guard on perimeter and guard in the paint. You have all this size that Dallas have. And on top of that, you got some stone cold killers in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving that can just eliminate you. So you asking this young team, which is not an excuse anymore because they're number 1 seed. I hate saying that. They're number 1 seed. They're talented. They're very talented. And they're learning the hard way. And if they lose this series, eventually, Sam Presti's going to have to be making a choice here. Because now you got the crossroad that you got to make a decision. You got SGA, who was in second in MVP running, and a lot of people clamoring for him, which, by the way, Shaq, that was disrespectful, what you did to Jokic. You could have kept that to yourself, that opinion, and you wait to the interview. That's why Jokic probably went off these last 2 games, because you said what you said. You just don't do that. But digress the point, I'm going for tangent. SGA is a
Shaq, man.
Yeah, but SGA, deservedly so, is a top 2 MVP caliber type player that he played this year. But now you find out that when you play your players and your spacing is limited and you don't have any room to operate, welcome to that. Because now these teams are now game planning for you. They can game plan for you because they see your tendencies and what you're gonna do for almost a week and a half. So now
that's the tough part is you're playing the same team 5, 6, 7 times.
And this is all new grounds for this young OKC team. And it's good experience for them. And listen, this sucks to lose. You're the number 1 seed, and it sucks to lose. And you just got to go through that sometimes. You really do to get to the promised land. You really got to go through that. And they're facing a Dallas team that's got a young superstar that is still and is getting into his prime. Kyrie Irving, who is one of the best closers that we ever seen in this game. And they add 2 integral pieces that they got, one from the Wizards and one from the Hornets, that was underachieving in the Southeast Division. It's just something else, man. Jason Kidd is doing a hell of a job.
Being those two. Talk about being PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Think about those 2 guys. They were just rotting away in Charlotte and Washington. And now they're potentially going to the Western Conference Finals. Like,
which is crazy.
Life is wild.
Right. And did you see the telecast where they had PJ Washington goes because he's from Dallas and he want to play for Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah.
I guess it hits different for players, man. When you go back home and you play, and it's different, man. You get that extra motivation. You know the area, you know your food spots, you know your family, you know your friends, you know where you grew up at, down the road, the streets, left, right. You just know this neighborhood over here. This is the part that you play ball at. There's a comfort level with PJ Washington now that he didn't have in Charlotte. He's comfortable there. And you can tell the way he's playing right now that arguably he's the best player. He's been the best player in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, you just gave the stats just about 5 minutes ago. And they got a chance to do something special here. I picked the Clippers to beat them in round 1. And boy, was I wrong. They got a chance to go to the Western Conference Finals, and they got a chance to do it tomorrow. And I'm with you, Paul. I think they can do it. Who you got winning? I know we didn't answer the question the first time on Sunday about this game. Wolves, Nuggets. Who you got, man? Who you got? You got to pick.
I'm gonna take Minnesota. Anthony Edwards. Like, I know we talked about Jokic after that game, but Anthony Edwards got that look in his eye too, and he knows that he's got to, as the young kids stand on business.
Mm-hmm.
And he told Denver, and I guess at the end of Game 6 or before Game 6 started, he said, "Hey, we'll see y'all. I'll see y'all for Game 7."
Yep. And
this is the time where everybody says that he plays kind of like Jordan, and his mannerisms and everything he does is kind of like Jordan. Now is as big a time as any for him to be Michael Jordan, because him in a Game 7 against the defending champs, I don't think there's a bigger stage for a young star to be in than that. And he seems to want it all. He wants all the smoke. He's not he's not ducking, he's not dodging nothing. He wants all the smoke. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see it. And I'm gonna take Minnesota. I'm gonna take Minnesota to knock out Denver.
I'm agree with you. I that 45 butt whooping kind of convinced me to kind of lean towards Minnesota. I had a hunch that they was kind of win this series or get to it. They haven't won it yet, but I feel confident in Minnesota on the road. They had done it before. They can win on the road. So that's the easy part. They have done it. In Denver, Game 7 is a whole different landscape. But man, listen, the way that this parity playoffs is playing has been fantastic in the West. And so, yeah, if this is going to be a series to take down the champions and do something, there'd be crown a new champion. This is it. And Minnesota has played them well last year. They played them well this year. Jay McDaniels got to be clutch again. Jamal Murray, if he goes off for 20, if Jamal Murray gets 25, Nuggets win.
Yeah, 100%. It's 100% on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's got to show up.
Yeah. As much as I like Aaron Gordon, you'd rather have Aaron Gordon go off for you than Jamal Murray. Just sorry. Just if Aaron Gordon getting 25, I feel like the Timberwolves got a chance. if Jamal Murray get 25, they're in trouble.
Yeah, Jamal Murray is the type where his 25 hit different than an Aaron Gordon 25. Like an Aaron Gordon 25 he's getting some offensive rebounds, he's getting some cuts to the lane, he might make a 3 or 2, but Jamal Murray has the capability of hitting, momentum swinging shots, and he can just take the air out of a game sometimes with the way he scores.
Just like that high court shot.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray can score 20. He can score 18. But the shots that he makes tend to be big shots. So if he's not on and he's not scoring, it's gonna be a tough night for Denver.
Good stuff. Hey man, before we close this up, I want to ask something. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I thought there was a cool story here. So let's see if you can hear this. If it'll play.
I don't hear him.
You seen this, Paul?
I can't hear it. I don't know what's happening.
Okay. So I got to figure out how to do this. But what happened is, Paul, is that there are some owners, or at least business owners in Las Vegas. They gave all the players $100K per player. So $100K per player for every Las Vegas player, like every business owner, everybody that's in that town, Las Vegas, gave each Las Vegas Aces player $100K to be a sponsorship, and not to do anything to represent their business. They just gave them the money and just say, hey, here you go. So there was a cool, to me, in my opinion, I think this is a cool story because we're all about talking about how we need to invest in women's sports, how we need to push the game forward, and especially women's basketball. In a set, and kudos to Caitlin Clark being helping this sport go in the right direction. But some people like this to invest in the team and get $100K their own money just to have and just to be a sponsor and not do anything extra, like go out there and be a prop for their business like that. It's pretty cool, man. So I'm hoping more communities among these WNBA community would take that initiative and do this same stuff that these guys are doing. So they made their announcement, and you'll see by some of their reactions. I know you can't hear it, but you'll see their reactions.
If someone gave me $100K, I'd be stoked too. I mean, it also helps that you're probably the best team in the WNBA.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Defending champs, and it's nice that Las Vegas is embracing that. They know how important that team is to that city. Exactly. They look at it like, oh, we don't have a professional men's team in Las Vegas, but we got the WNBA champions. We got some of the biggest stars in the WNBA on our team, and we need to make sure they get the recognition that they deserve. Because obviously, Caitlin Clark coming in, well deserved. She's gonna get all the spotlight, and they're gonna put all the fever games on TV and all that stuff. Meanwhile, someone like Asia Wilson just got a shoe deal. Mm-hmm. She's been the best player in the league for the last probably 2 or 3 years.
100%, absolutely, and it's well deserved.
So you love to see it, and something like that, a story like that, coming off of the we haven't mentioned it, but coming off of the Harrison Butker situation. That's been a whirlwind, huh? I mean, the Swifties brought the women into the NFL, and Harrison Butker just kicked them all out. Every last one of them. What a guy. You'd think he was a punter. You think he was a punter shanking him like that. But, could you imagine going to college for 4 years and you're getting ready to graduate, and the school is like, hey, we have a player from the defending Super Bowl champions going to come in here and give you your commencement speech, and it's just like, no, it's not Patrick Mahomes, he's busy. No, it's not Travis Kelce, he's busy. No, it's not he's busy. Harrison Butker, the field goal kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to come in here and give your commencement speech. And not only that, he's going to come in here wearing a cheetah print tie, and he's going to literally just give the worst speech I've probably ever heard in my whole life. And now there are petitions on change.org for the Chiefs to just cut this guy. The NFL comes out and is like, hey, man, look, he does not represent our views. The NFL does not feel the same way as Mr. Butker. And meanwhile, this guy is it's just crazy, man. Like how we let people, the NFL needs, you gotta understand, and like people gotta understand too. Like even like you work for Walmart. Like if you do something stupid in front of a bunch of people, you represent the brand, right? Like you're representing a company. Now, mind you, you're a salaried employee, whatever. It's a little bit different. But when you're in the NFL, like you are representing your franchise, your job, your team, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until you are no longer contracted by those people. And the things that you do, the things that you say, you gotta be better. You gotta have a better PR guy than that. You can't let your man. Like, tell me, no one proofread that speech before he went up there. No one looked at it. No one said, "Mr. Butker, I don't think you should say that."
Paul, did you mention that his jersey sales increased?
Oh yeah, because women are probably going to burn them.
It's like people buying this man jerseys, and then they increased.
And there's two reasons why. People are either going to buy them to light them on fire on TikTok, or no coincidence, they happen to match really well with a MAGA hat.
Or the crowd that say they're not gonna watch NFL anymore. They're still watching NFL and bought those jerseys.
Yeah, no, it's and I seen a meme today. It said make sure we don't let Harrison Butker know that when women play on men's football teams, they usually kick field goals. So Harrison Butker, man, just go away until football starts. Like, I remember they made that whole big thing about the whole like shut up and dribble thing. Remember when that was the thing?
Yep.
Like, sure, I feel like there's just a shut up and kick for Harrison Butker. Like, never in my life have I been able to say that ain't it, Chief, and it actually makes sense in a situation.
Please tell me that this guy's thing's queued up. Please tell me that this queued up.
It's just my girlfriend who she had no idea who he was. She's like, who is this guy, Harrison Butker? Whatever. Oh, he plays for the Chiefs, and she like didn't know what he did, and I was like, he's a guy that he plays like 5 snaps a game, like he doesn't even play a whole lot. And she's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, he just comes in, kicks field goals, extra points, whatever. Like he's not like, he doesn't have a super important like role where he's playing, the whole time. Like he probably plays a combined like maybe less than 10 minutes of on-field time. And to do that and to just, have that kind of an impact that he just had off the field, just for you, man. Harrison Butker, bro.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I'll let them all play.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh man, but yeah, that's what I
got. Legendary, this guy's thing.
We love the ladies. We love the ladies on the Balls in Our Court podcast. Follow your dreams. Go to college. Work whatever job you want.
Yeah. Just
don't listen to some bozo with a cheetah print tie.
yeah, and yeah, that and Harrison Butler and P. Diddy done had a hell of a week. Don't want to talk a bit of video, but that guy stinks too. I'm just adding that in. I know that's Paul's segment, but that guy stinks too. Don't. Stupid. All right. We're good, guys. Let's close this. I'm glad Paul ended this with this guy stinks statement. It was perfect. So make sure y'all stay tuned. I will be more consistent now because I have a set schedule here soon. I will probably figure something out during the week a little bit later. I will be decompressing in Sarasota for a couple of days. I need to get away. So I'm going to go hit up Lido Beach. I'm going to go hit up Mayaca River State Park. I'm going to go get away for a little bit. I already bought a hotel for 2 days and get away. And it's been well-deserved. I've been working 2 months, 5 days, and I'm over it. Then I had to do a severe weather drill today and all that. I didn't get out of work till like 6:30. Usually I get out of work by like 5. So yeah, I'm ready for a good getaway. So Paul's been
I'll be pulling a Cortez next week. I'm taking my first vacation in probably over a decade. So I will not be here. So whoever you have fill in, do your thing.
We'll get a panel in and we'll talk some playoffs and get it on there. And
Austin, Texas, I'm coming for you, yo.
That's right. Hey, I know you can't tour the Tito's factory, but can you at least take a picture of it, please?
It's in Austin?
It's in Austin, yeah.
Oh, I'll find it. I get a picture for you. I got it from the outside.
Yeah. They don't do tours, unfortunately. I would love to go do a tour, but they don't do tours.
It's all right. I'll get you a picture.
Come on, man. I'll be in there walking like Jim Leahy. They let me in the Tito's factory, bro. But no, hey, listen, Paul deserved a vacation, so him and his beautiful missus, they definitely enjoy that. So hopefully they enjoy their time in Austin. Let me know how it is because I need to go there. I got some friends that live there. They've been at me for years to visit. So Paul, I'm pretty sure give me a good synopsis of Austin, Texas. I heard this.
We got a whole itinerary. We're ready to go.
I can't wait to see the pictures, bud. So, but yeah, stay tuned for myself and whoever I get to fill in. Paul get to enjoy himself and he deserves it. So, but you can follow the podcast. You can follow the podcast at BLC Podcast. You can find me at @CP, Mr. Mac.
Yes, sir. I'm on X at @the_Paul_Mac and on Instagram at @thePaulMac520. Yeah, man. Holla.
Absolutely. So make sure you go to YouTube, type in BLC Podcast, like, subscribe, give us some hits there. We actually been getting a few subscribes there. So shout out to you guys. Sorry we haven't been working on the content, but more is coming. Basketball playoffs should be kicking the year. Absolutely, man. So
hey.
Oh
yeah, we're good. Shout out Drake.
There it is. Shout out Drake. Make sure you follow the podcast on Facebook, Balls Not Court Podcast. Give us a like there, comment there. We're also on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spreaker, Windows, Google Podcasts, or Kevin Carr like to say, wherever you found us before. But shout out, to everybody that's listen to the podcast anywhere you can get it. We definitely appreciate you guys.
And also, before we go, shout out NBC for getting back the NBA. And hopefully they bring back the greatest theme song of all time. That's all I care about. Just bring me play the song. Play the song.
Absolutely. I wish they could have took out ESPN, but it seemed like there may be a end of the run for the TNT crew inside the NBA on TNT. But I do know that's why I think they actually moved to HBO Max because I think they're going to probably do some content there. So they're probably doing some prior planning, in my opinion. But Bob Costas, who led the NBA on NBC telecast before on some of the silent reporting, if he can come back, that'd be fantastic. I don't know if he'd be interested, but they're still got a lot of time. Maybe they get some of them guys over there. You never know. But I'm aside for that, but it is bittersweet losing. We're going to lose NBA on TNT, but they had a nice run. And, all good things must come to an end. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, shout out to them if it seems like the rumor is going to be true that they're kind of leaning towards that. So, all right, we'll sign off here. This is the Balls Not Court podcast. This is Cortez Paul, Mr. Paul Mack. Even make sure y'all enjoy y'all Friday and enjoy yourselves. And Paul, enjoy vacation, bud.
Yes, sir. See you on the other side, baby.
Yes, sir.